pretty much everyone who has, I think, a political YouTube channel, even not a political YouTube channel, is of course talking about the attempted assassination, of course, of Donald Trump. And yes, it is an attempted assassination. The FBI have come out, and quite frankly, on Twitter this morning, everyone also seems to be counter sniper experts and all kinds of crazy conspiracies are also being born from this as well. So I'm sure we've got all those to look forward to, about the year's worth of conspiracy theories that are going to emerge from this, because of course they will. But there you go. But we're not talking about that today. No, I'm going to leave talking about that maybe for some time still. But I'm going to talk about the other assassination attempt. The actual one I think has a lot bigger repercussions, especially for Europe in general. This highlights two big things that are really going on in Europe that also have not had a lot of, I think, media attention, and of course haven't been talked about. Although I will stand surprised, because I'm sure people are going to talk about this in the comments. We knew about this all the time. Well, again, I stand to be corrected. But no, today we are talking about, of course, if you didn't know, just a couple of days ago, came out that the boss of Rheinmetall, one of Germany's biggest arms producers in certainly armored vehicles, but also in artillery shells, also one of the biggest exporters and helpers, of course, of Ukraine. They've also set up a tank repair workshop as well in eastern Ukraine as well. Also pledged to help support Ukraine as well after the war as well, which, of course, Russia does not want. So in response to this, we have seen, or at least this is where some of the information has come from, it seems to be sort of leading to, really leaning on the fact that, yes, this seems to have been a Russian attempt to try and assassinate the boss of Rheinmetall. This has big and should have, I think, a lot more repercussions on this than I think people are talking about. And I am really shocked. Well, not in some cases, that more people, of course, aren't talking about this, but maybe we'll get into that as well. So, of course, before we do talk more about this, please remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and the one affiliation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button. And of course, as always, there's the Pony Club down below as well. So, obviously, this story, as you can see, Germany decries Russian plot to assassinate Rheinmetall boss. There it is. It's not that it didn't get any, media attention. It did get some media attention, but it kind of shocked me that it got so little media attention, because here you have one of, if not the biggest CEOs in Germany in charge of armament production, and of course helping to support Ukraine as well, as we said, building that tank repair shop, pledging future support for again Ukraine after the war as well, which will certainly help build up their industrial base, which again something Russia does not want. But this is also a pattern we've seen emerging quite some time now. This is, at least as far as we are aware, because I think the reports are basically saying that this was actually stopped last year, at least, or at least these reports are coming out that this attempt was at least stopped last year by the looks of it, some of the reports, but it's only just being released now of, hey, this was an assassination attempt that we stopped. I think, once again, if this had happened or if this had succeeded, maybe you would get more media attention. I certainly think this would be justify a lot bigger response from Germany. And it does seem at least some German politicians, when they have responded to this, have basically said, well, okay, this just means that we should support Ukraine more, that we should send them more stuff. I think that is an entirely justified response from Germany. So I think, maybe their reluctance to send the Taurus missile systems over there in Germany, maybe you might see in a couple of days that might disappear. Maybe, who knows? But it certainly once again piles pressure on German politicians to help send more support for Ukraine, just as we saw with like the release the Leopard campaign. The Taurus missiles is certainly one of those things as well. But along with this, the big other thing that is should be, I think, discussed as well, the fact that this isn't the first time that we've seen such an act. We've seen acts of industrial sabotage attempts to be carried out, to low-level things of Russians trying to pay people to spray anti-Ukrainian graffiti through things like Fiverr and etc. So we do know that there is a low level, or well, not just low level, but definitely almost a revenge type campaign going against things like this. Maybe this is just a step in escalation in this. And it shocks me that just last week, we saw the whole Storm Shadow just constantly, almost for like a couple of days on Twitter. Oh my God, Starmer doing this is serious. Starmer's going to start World War III. Starmer's going to start World War III. Well, hold on, guys. If you were so concerned about, Starmer giving, the Storm Shadow and stuff to more Storm Shadows to, Ukraine and etc., and that was going to be an escalation that was going to lead to World War III, I am shocked that this crowd is nothing to say on the attempted assassination of what is a German citizen, and of course the CEO boss of Rheinmetall. Some, of course, they're going to be Russian bots. Some are going to be Russian supporters. They aren't really going to be interested. But it does shock me that this has been so silent, such silence from that crowd. It really shows where their interests lie in many cases. But the other story I think should also be coming out about this, which is again also a worry if Donald Trump wins. We'll be certainly probably talking about this more on Geoscope tonight as well. The fact that Donald Trump now wants to stop intelligence sharing with Europe. And bear in mind, from what we've also seen from reports as well, this information that led to this plot being foiled was initially given by the CIA with intelligence sharing to the German authorities. And one of the things that Donald Trump has said, no more intelligence sharing. Yeah, so that's of course a bit of a worry, but also something I think we've got probably these talks about the European Defence Security Pact being talked about. Maybe we need to be talking about informational sharing in there as well. Something I've mentioned before on Geoscape. I know that, but yeah, probably big problems. But yes, I'd be interested to know what you think about this. This certainly does seem to be, I think, an interesting sort of escalation from Russia. Of course, Russia denies it. You know, there's no evidence. This is just hearsay. This is just unconfirmed allegations coming from the Kremlin, denying it, obviously, because, of course they would. But yeah, this is certainly a worrying escalation. Something, of course, we in Europe should be taking very, very seriously. That we are starting to potentially, probably see more types of these acts potentially be carried out. And of course, how do we defend against this? This is really all about informational interceptions and then tackling these threats at source. So this is something where once again Europe has to sort of work together, and of course the European NATO countries have to work together to really ensure that they can stop these things from happening should they learn about them. So as always, let me know what you think down below. But of course, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course we'll see you all next time.